That's what happens when you get a high score. They do a countdown, and then we cheers.
I think the most we had 4.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, maybe 5, because we were talking to a band based out of Seattle, a place for owls, and I think we had. This is the most dudes we've had at once.
It is the most dudes. But how many daddies? How many daddies are here?
Right.
Just
none. We're all really sick uncles. We're real sick uncles. That's it.
Well, you don't have to have kids to be a daddy, is what I understand. There's plenty, so if some girls ever called you, hey, daddy.
That's true.
Austin,
all right.
You can take that one.
Yeah, right.
You know what? No, I won't.
Who is daddy? That's what I want to know.
It's me.
Fair enough. You know what? Since there are so many of us, if everyone just wants to go around and kind of say, tell our listeners, who you are and what you do in the band.
I'm not going first.
All right, Jesse, why don't we start with you, because you're at the top of my screen.
All right. What's up, everybody? I'm Jesse, and I play drums.
Oh, hey.
John.
Yeah, John's next.
Yeah, I'm John. I play guitar.
I'm Nick. I play guitar and sing.
And I'm Austin, and I play the bass.
Okay.
He makes really good pulled pork, too.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fantastic. What kind of smoke are you? You smoke it, I assume?
So we're talking about this now. Okay, I have an 18-inch Cuisinart vertical that I can't really do that much on. When I do pulled pork, I do a crock pot.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Nothing wrong with that.
I get nuts with it, though. I throw
Do you, what's your liquid of choice?
So I used to use Dr. Pepper, but lately I've been using Cheerwine.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So I get a 4-pack.
Whoa.
I get a 4-pack of Cheerwine in the glass bottles, because I think that's the only way you can get it. And then I use 2 for the crock pot, and then I cook the other 2 bottles down until it's a syrup, and then I make barbecue sauce out of it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they sell Cheerwine everywhere now? We're in Delaware, and you used to not be able to get it in here, but I used to have family in North Carolina, and that was the only place I could get it.
So up near us, you can get it at a Wegmans. I don't know if you guys have Wegmans down there.
We do.
Or not.
Yeah.
We have like 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
Wegmans has it, and if
Wegmans.
you guys got a Cracker Barrel, usually.
Yeah, Cracker
Interesting.
Barrel.
Once in a while, you'll find it in like a random grocery store will have it for like a month and a half, and that's it, though. It's not as like...
Yeah, like a feature, like on an end cap. Here's the Cheerwine.
Yeah, it's the one.
Love that. Okay, well, we went off on a little tangent. You all said what you do on the band. Give our listeners the name of your band. Who's our front man?
Yeah,
Somebody
who's leading the...
Our band is called Different People.
Different People. All one word, right?
Yep.
No space in between.
Okay.
As I was looking you guys up, I searched Different People, and I said, did you mean Different Space People? Song by, was it maybe?
No doubt.
No Doubt. Yes. And I was like, no. I mean Different People, all one word. And the first real thing I found of you guys was a Reddit post saying like these guys. It was like maybe the subreddit for pop punk. Said, oh, these guys are sick. There's their LP or whatever the album that you guys put out.
We have
That's
a Reddit
cool.
sub
I didn't know
post.
that
That's
existed.
sick.
Yeah,
There was a post on
it,
Reddit about you, and somebody was raving about you. Now, hold on, don't get too excited. I don't think that there was any interaction or anything like that.
No,
I didn't check the upvotes,
That's
but
cool.
someone, it was like, I didn't think that you guys had put this out so long ago. I was listening to it. I think the post was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, how long have you been a band for?
Not us then. Not
Is
us.
that
Definitely not us.
No chance.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
so-
Hold on.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
definitely not us.
So how long have you been a band then?
We started quietly like the summer of 2023. It was like August.
Okay.
But we didn't put our first record out until August of 24.
That's my bad. 241 days ago. I don't know where I got that many years ago.
4 years ago.
240
Damn.
241
That's
days
close.
ago.
That
That would,
checks out.
that would track. That would track.
Yeah. You
think
have a
so.
subreddit post.
Yes.
That's
We have a
somebody's
subreddit.
awesome.
Reddit user
Wow.
PJ Davids 25. Shout out.
I know
My
that.
dad.
Yes.
He is a
Okay.
daddy. He's got 2 kids now.
One
Okay.
daddy's already shared your stuff. This is good.
Well, he had one kid, and then the record came out, so now he's got 2.
So I don't want to like just immediately jump into this, but you guys are playing with Just Surrender at the 20th. That's fucking awesome. How did you get linked up with them? Have you known them for a while?
I met
That's a
them.
Nick
So
question.
the guy who's working on the shows, his name's Jeff. And when back in like the early 2010s, late 2000, like the late 2000s, early 2010s, I guess, he was the main talent buyer for the local venue in our area, and I was his production manager for like a couple years. And so I got to know those guys pretty well because it was right around the time they were doing like the Phoenix album cycle. So they were playing here all the time, and they're obviously from here too. So so I got to know them decently well. And then I kind of kept in touch with Dan over the years. Like, you know, I'd run into him at a coffee shop, or like, you know, we'd reply to Instagram stories or whatever. And so we kind of, you know, kept in touch here and there. But when we started the band and we put our first single out, he messaged me and was like, "Yo, I love this song." And I was like, "This song's really cool," or something like that. And I was like, "That's cool." So, um, Jesse was laughing the other day because he was like, "This all looks like the most well-timed, perfectly executed, thought out release plan," because the song came out today. We're doing this podcast, we're doing all these shows, and it was entirely an accident. It like we're like, oh, the song will come out in like 4 weeks, and then like the shows have been announced or whatever. Um, but yeah, so I've known those guys a decent amount for a while, but I've kept in touch with Dan, I guess, and Jolly, I guess I've kept in touch with a good amount too, the most.
Stars are lining up, dude.
Well, it's
Dude, it's so
fascinating
random.
too. Like we had Jason on about a month ago, and I loved like Just Surrender. That was a big part of my like high school.
Fun fact, and not anybody, unless you've listened to that episode of the podcast, knows this. That's Greg lost his virginity to a Just Surrender song.
I did.
I did listen to that podcast, and I did know that.
That is my favorite part of maybe almost any podcast that we've had.
Well, and it's funny. So we've obviously this is the first time I'm not sure who I was speaking with on the on your Instagram, but I feel like we don't ever really know anyone until we do the episode, right? So and we were maybe 10 minutes into that one when I told him that, and he was a good sport about it, but like. And then it turns out that like his parents live super close to my mom in Lewis, Delaware, right? So then like we all linked up with them. Eric and I went down to the beach a week ago. We went to this kite festival, and he was there with his kids, so we were all hanging out. So he's a fucking cool dude. But anyway, sorry, off topic. But yeah, so after we had him on, then he messaged us about 2 or 3 days later, and he was like, "Hey, we're doing a 20th in New York. We haven't really announced it yet." But then as soon as they posted that they were doing that, I saw your name pop up, started listening to you guys, and it was fucking awesome. And then I think we started interacting, and then yeah, you were like, "Hey, this song's coming out on Tuesday." And so typically like when we record, like we'll record weeks in advance, but this episode is recording on a Tuesday to drop on a Wednesday. So after we get done shooting this, I'm gonna fucking edit it so we
Hold
can
on,
get it
ready,
live.
Greg? Pull up your cup of coffee. Where is it?
I actually have a Stanley.
A Stanley full of coffee.
No, it's just full of water. So I feel like everyone should know I'm actively trying to pass a kidney stone right now, so I'm in a lot of fucking pain as we're recording this episode. So
Dude,
You're a fucking trooper, dude.
I've also had one of those.
brutal, right? Like I feel like I'm dying right now.
What's so it's not funny at all, but the thing is, when you talk to somebody that has had a kidney stone, you kind of just drop whatever you're doing and you listen to their entire story from beginning to end of what happened. And it is I'm not trying to exaggerate, it is the absolute fucking worst thing that could ever happen to anybody ever.
So
That's an
I'm
exaggeration.
Good luck
I'm
with
sitting-
that. Yeah.
sitting here like grabbing my
Dude.
leg, like, but you know what? I wasn't gonna not do this episode. I was 100% making this shit happen.
We'll talk after. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
right, please. I'm gonna lay down and cry after this. So
Yeah, dude, I did.
Did you take your Flomax?
I did.
Okay, good.
Fucking absolutely did. But yeah, so we're happy to have you on, and the fact like opening that show is fucking awesome. Like that's so fucking cool. And Eric and I are actually we're taking the train out. We're gonna be there for
Hell
that
yeah.
show. So we're really excited for that.
We're gonna bring our recording gear. We'll talk to you guys again,
Yeah.
maybe if you want
Right.
to talk to us.
Yeah, we'll be there early as shit.
If you're like in the fucking zone, locked in, just be like, "Yo, not right now." Tell us. Just let us know. We'll be there. We'll be there though.
We got the clear to talk about it too. There's actually 3 shows, and the other 2 are being announced tomorrow. Or well, I guess so. They'll be announced the day the podcast comes out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So today.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I'm-
today. Yeah.
There's like so there's a warm up show the night before July 25th in Newburgh, which is like very close to both ours and Just Render's hometown. New York City is the 26th, and then there's a New Jersey date on the 27th. So we're
That's
stoked.
awesome.
So I have family that lives in New York, but we're really not super familiar with New York. Like we've gone, to some Broadway shows, or normally it's like Times Square and super touristy stuff. So last night, Eric and I were playing Call of Duty, and we're sitting there looking at hotels and trying to figure out the fucking train schedule and like where we're going to stay. So like, do you have any recommendations on good hotels that are in New York, or where the fuck we should stay?
You're a John right there.
No, that's Jesse.
I mean, Manhattan's tough because it's so expensive and most of the rooms are pretty tiny. Yeah, I don't really know. There's so many hotels. You find a decent one and it's kind of the same unless you're going to go like crazy and, stay where Kevin stayed in Hobo too. But yeah, that's like the only high end.
I mean,
One
I
year
guess
of-
too. You could. Sorry, go ahead, Austin.
God damn it, Nicholas. Sorry. 1 year, my wife and I, we went down to go see the Rockettes, and we decided halfway through the day, we're just going to get a hotel, spend whatever it is. We actually got it's a place called the Hotel Hendricks. We were not expecting anything crazy, but this place was really nice. It was like $150 a night, but don't quote me on that because it's definitely not going to be that now. And there was a
Variable
rooftop
rates.
bar, and you were right in front of the Empire State Building.
Okay,
That sounds
cool.
like a
yeah.
fever dream you had while passing the kidney stone. That doesn't sound real at all, bro.
This place doesn't exist.
Taking notes right now. I'm gonna check all these. I'm
I
gonna check
swear.
places out.
Well, and something that always fucks me up too, like in Delaware, we don't have tax. So I was looking at hotels, and it was like
we got tax.
yeah, right. So it was like the night rate plus whatever the tax
I
is,
think
and
tax
then
might be most of it.
yeah, and then we were looking at like Airbnbs, but then those were fucking wild too. So
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if you
I don't
guys
know.
are already going to take like trains or subways, we live on like what's called the Hudson line. Like you guys might be better off looking at something on the Hudson line that's like maybe a few stops before Manhattan, and then just taking the Hudson line right in on Metro North.
so the show is at the Racket. Is that
Yeah.
so? Like, where is that in relation to? I don't know.
No idea.
I only know Times
It's in
Square as a
Chelsea,
point of
so
reference.
that is.
Oh yeah,
I know it's on the west side, upper or lower. Couldn't tell you.
I looked on a map. It looked lower to me, but I don't know shit about New York. That's it. Okay, what I was really curious about, if you guys are New York people, food.
Yeah,
I want
that's
some
the
good
biggest
food
thing.
when I go up there, because we're actually probably depending on rates, hotel rates, going to go up on Friday, and I think it's going to revolve around food. You got any good recommendations in
Out
the
of
area?
all of the super famous cliche places to go, I would tell you guys you definitely got to go to Katz if you guys are
Okay.
fans of pastrami and
Yep.
pickles.
Yes.
Do that. And if you don't, you kind of
There's
made a mistake.
We fucked up.
Hold on, let me take some more notes.
Are either of
Cat's
you
Deli.
vegan?
No.
Okay, then
Yeah, you'll
John
be
has
fine
nothing
there.
to say.
I like vegetables.
Yeah,
I
right.
just like also eat meat.
Yeah.
To eat vegetables is to show weakness.
The reason was, so when we first jumped on here and I was like out of breath because I ran up the steps, Greg texted me making sure I wasn't dead. I was cooking. I got sucked into this stupid fucking Instagram reel. Oh, cook the best chicken you ever had. And it was like this, pan fry it, we'll put it in cornstarch and then add a sauce, and I cooked it, and I looked at the clock and it was like running up on time, and I was like, shit. And here I am scarfing down my food, and then I ran upstairs to do this podcast. I was all out of breath. I feel sweaty, but I made it and it was really delicious.
Chicken you ever had though?
That's a way to start.
It was, you know what? It's up there in the best chicken I've ever made.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
Okay,
I'll give you some chicken recipes.
not bad.
We'll send it to you guys.
Okay.
So
No,
no, you're good.
Oh, sorry. As I say, more food recommendations. It's up kind of by Rockefeller and Radio City. There's a ramen spot called Ippudo, I think, and it is
Yeah.
really good.
See, I can get down
One of
with
my favorites.
Greg
Yeah, that's a
Greg and
real
I
great spot.
joke. We have this really great ramen place in Delaware. Well, we think it's really great. It's the best one in Delaware for sure. Ramen Kumamoto. It's right on Main Street near the University of Delaware. And then we went out to, and we've been to a couple other ramen joints. And then we went out to LA 5-6 years ago, and we had ramen out there. And we said, wow, I guess we've had ramen coast to coast now. And we can say that we've had ramen coast to coast. And the best one is like one of these like 4 places that we've been to.
And like I always say that to my wife, and she's like, "That's not funny." I was like, "It's funny to us."
It is funny. I kill myself every time I say it. It's stupid.
Hey Jesse, I have to ask, did I hear you're in St. Louis right now?
I'm in St. Louis. I'm on the semi truck for the tour I'm on because it's the only quiet place in the venue
Sick.
right now.
So yeah, where in St. So my wife actually is from that area, so we were just out there not that long ago. So like
Yeah,
no.
I'm.
I was just curious to see like what part.
I'm at the pageant tonight. The
Okay.
theater. I don't know. I'm not familiar. I'm not as familiar with St. Louis, but the show is at the pageant. So wherever that is in relation to most.
They have
of
a really
St.
sweet
Louis,
zoo.
I have no idea.
The zoo's pretty fucking cool there.
I think you know what, Nick. Didn't we go? It used to be like free to entry. Yeah, Nick. Nick and I went to the St. Louis Zoo.
The only
on tour one
recollection
time,
I have of St. Louis is waiting 45 minutes
years
online for
ago.
barbecue food. I don't remember the zoo at all.
No, dude, we went. It was when we were out with Ampersand, and we had an off day, and it was just like, oh, the zoo's free. Let's go to the zoo. So there you go.
Did you say you're on tour right now?
Yeah. I just got back on tour. I was home. My sister got married 2 days ago, so I was home.
So are you
now I'm back
are you
on
in
tour.
multiple bands? Is that
no, this is I work as a drum tech. So I'm out on the Spirit Box tour right now. Drum teching for their drummer. So yeah, like I said, been a bit of a whirlwind because I started the tour, then went home to play the first Different People show, then went back on tour, then went home for my sister's wedding, and now I've got like 2 weeks
so
left.
you're all over the place
on this tour. So yeah, and it's not typically how tours go, but this tour was just, I have a ton of stuff going on, kind of a last minute thing, but I did some work with them like 3 years ago, so I kind of knew them already and was able to.
That's awesome, man.
I'm just glad that you didn't say I'm in an undisclosed location in the back of a trailer being hauled down the highway.
Yes. Well, funny enough, I knew 7:00 we were going to do this podcast. I was like, oh, great. I can probably hop on for a bit before I have to leave. And I'm literally just relaxing, doing nothing. And Nick texts me. He's like, yo, you going to join us? I'm like, oh no, I'm an hour behind. So I had to like run. I had to grab my phone. I'm like, I got to download this app. So luckily you guys didn't start without me, but I was I was all out of sorts. So I was just like, what? Why?
Out
It's
of
like
breath from making
like
a chicken as
$6.
well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was just gonna say that's a way better excuse than making fucking chicken.
Well, time zones always fuck us up. Like
It does. We're so stupid.
we are. And so like we were talking to
Carry the 4.
this Swedish artist, and we were like they are, I think he's 6-7 hours ahead, and we're sitting there trying to do fucking math to figure out like what time is still appropriate, because you don't want to film too late, and you want to be courteous of everyone's time, but like we were trying to figure out what works for us and him, and it's so fucking, or like we had to do one at like 7 a.m. because the time zone was so fucking different. So yeah, we suck at that.
We do. My favorite is just you ask and say, what time is it where you are right now?
Yep.
And then we look at the clock and say, all right, that I could do that. But if we like look it up, I can't figure it out for some reason. I don't know. There's a mental
You can
block.
just look
I
at
don't
a wall
trust it.
clock
No chance.
on your on right on your phone.
I know.
Maybe that's what I should start
Remove the
doing.
math.
Actually, my Casio has different time zone options, so that's why I got it, because I'm
Well,
always moving around.
Apparently,
That's what I need
you
to
weren't
do.
prepared
I don't
to
know.
use
I'm
it for today.
I have a fucking Apple Watch,
No,
and
nope,
it's just
totally
fucking
spaced.
dead. Like I'm really bad at charging my devices.
Oh,
You are really
my
bad at
phone
charging
is
your
about to
devices.
die. My watch died, so that does me no fucking
Greg,
good.
that's terrifying for you. You have an electric car. Do
Yeah.
you not charge your car?
When it dies. When it fucking dies. All right, but one of the biggest things, your new song. So Notes from the Bottom, released today, the day we're recording, Tuesday. So now it'll have been out for a whole 24 hours at this point. But it also features Dan Simmons. I listened to it like 18 times on the way home. It's really fucking good. I really wanted to be familiar with it. So can you walk us through that and how that song came to?
You got to start this one.
I'll start it. So Nick and I had written the EP together however long ago. So this was the first song separate from that. And it kind of came together pretty quickly, pretty seamlessly. So we sent Jesse the demo, and he started putting parts together wherever you were on the road. And then once Austin joined the group, this was like the first one that we put him on. So I don't know that we actually planned for Dan to be on the song until like we were heading into the studio.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I feel like sometimes when you write a song and there's going to be a feature added, like it's kind of obvious early on. So like we have another song that we're working on for an undisclosed record at an undisclosed time that like the second it was written, I was like, this is a feature song. Like I know the part, I know the voice I would like to hear on it. You know what I mean? But we had Notes from the Bottom that song's like a year and a half old. We wrote that like a year and a half ago and had been rehearsing it for like more than a year. And honestly, it wasn't something that was just like out of like John said, we weren't necessarily planning to have a feature on it. But at one point, John and I were talking, and he said something along the lines of like, "Oh, like maybe I sing that part live," and so it's like more back and forth. And then once he said that, I couldn't not hear, and I heard another voice on it, and I knew it wasn't mine. And
Because I suck at singing.
that's not true. He's just very mean. He's very mean to himself. No, I heard another voice on it. I knew it. You know, I had the part laid out, but I was like, this shouldn't be my voice. Like, it needs to be a combative, like another voice. And at first, the feature was just that part in the bridge that I feel the Reaper's breath, like that area. And we were rehearsing one night, and when I started thinking about it, there was one person on my list, and it was Dan Simons. Like, aside from the fact that the dude sang in one of our favorite bands ever, like legends from this area, wrote some of my favorite records of all time. It's a person that I already knew, but also already expressed that he liked our band. And something that we kind of talk about a lot as a band is, we all do this because we want to do it and it's fun and there's not all these expectations. We just do it. And when cool things happen, it's even cooler because we're not expecting anything. They just, things are kind of just rolling right now. And so when it came time to add another voice to it, I was like, we talk about a lot that we love that the people who are involved, whether it's the people who are doing graphic design or music videos or our engineer, like these people who are working on these records and these projects with us really like our band. It's like a thing that's kind of important to us because it makes it feel like we're not just like asking for someone to come in. It's like they're just as invested in it. So when I thought of like, oh, another voice, I was like, it has to be Dan. And I was at practice with everybody and I floated them the idea. And as I floated them the idea, I started hearing that the last chorus, as you heard 18 times apparently on your way home, is very back and forth. And I started hearing like, oh, that last chorus has to be massive. We have to be like battling, like vocally. And, we all talked about it. We all agreed it was a cool idea. And I DM'd Dan that night and I was like, yo, we're going into the studio next month with John, who is like, he did the first two Just Surrender records too. So he's very familiar with Dan. We have this part, we think you're perfect for it. Would you be down? And he was like, hell yeah, I'm in. And I was like, do you need anything from us? Like, normally when people hear that someone wants a feature on it, they want to hear what the song sounds like. He's like, nah, it's fine. I'll just see you guys there. So, it kind of worked out that way. And it feels cool to us too, because it feels like, Just Surrender, like you guys know that band, it's two lead vocalists. They're constantly going back and forth. So it feels familiar in a way, to me at least. But yeah, it's been insane. Super cool.
Another thing that was really interesting about Dan in the studio too was when he was recording with us that day, we had no idea that they were planning that show at all. He floated the idea. He was like, it's like in its infant stage. We don't really know what's going on. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I cornered everyone in the band separately. And I was like, guys, we need to do everything we can to try and open that show. It's just the timing was just, it was crazy.
Yeah, I feel like was it difficult for you guys to even get on that, or was it just like, hey, can we what do you think about?
We didn't want to like approach them about it at all. Like if it's meant to happen, they'll reach out to us, and then
it was a really sick daydream. It was like we just had Dan on the song. He told us about the shows. It'd be really cool in our heads. Like, man, that would be amazing. If we got to open up that whatever. And like a week later, Dan was like, "Hey, are you guys around this day?" And I had mentioned it to him once, not like, "Hey, can we play?" or like, "Let us know." But I was like, "Please let me know when that show is. I absolutely have to be there. That record means the world to me." And then him and Jeff, also the guy who's booking it all, both texted me on the same night, and I was like, "Oh shit, I think this is a thing." So it's been. Again, like we said before, we all do the band. This band is just like we want to hang out with each other and write cool songs. There's no expectation. We do it because we want to do it, and everything else is just bonus. And so, like, we never expected him to necessarily want to do the song, and he did. And then we didn't expect to do the show, and now there's 3 shows, and like it's things are kind of rolling at a cool pace just because we're creating stuff that we really like because we want to hear it.
It's interesting that you say that because that's kind of like Eric and like our thing with this podcast. Like we started this because we wanted to just talk about whatever. And then we started getting people on and we ended up doing like a crossover show with Jarrett from Bowling for Soup and like things like that would have never even dreamed of it when we started. It was just like for us with zero expectation. And I'll tell you, when Jason, after he came on, he was like, hey, we're doing the show in New York. Do you guys want to come hang out? And it was like, high school Greg was just fucking hype as shit. Like it was so like to me.
Is that all you were?
It was.
Dude, I wanted to make this comment before I have to make it. It really speaks to the time because if you listen to that record now and imagine anybody having sex to it, insane. That record is so sad and like aggressive. It's so emo. Like it really speaks to the time. Cause I heard you say that and I was like, really? Not Usher? Like,
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know why it was that specific song, but it just
The
was.
second song on the track, right?
It was the second, the
From
second
what I
song.
understand, you
and
waited until the second song.
yeah, right.
well, did
With-
Jay
you
tell you
finished-
what that song's about?
You know what? He
Of
did
all
it.
we've known?
No.
Dude, that's the funnier part. Apparently, that song is about the fact that his parents, like, so when he was like getting ready to graduate high school, they moved. And they were like, it's time that we say goodbye to all we've known. Like, we don't want to, we want to move on to this like new home or whatever. So like he talked about that at the show. He was just like, yeah, this is about, my parents selling my childhood home and me having to come to terms with that and all that stuff. And then to hear that that's the song that you lost your virginity to.
People
was
be
like-
fucking. People be fucking to that
Yeah,
song. Apparently.
that song was the shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. You know what? And he didn't tell me what the song was about. But
He probably felt bad for you, Greg.
all he asked was if his voice was doing it for me. But yeah, I don't know. But I was really, really excited. We're really excited to get out there. So you mentioned, so you're doing all 3 shows then.
Yeah.
And then do you have, I saw that you have
yeah.
another sold out show coming up. Did I?
Oh, we just played it.
Or you just played it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
The first one.
Like that was your first show or your first sold out one?
Those are the first time we played. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sick.
Okay.
How did it go?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I thought it
Me
went
too.
pretty great. It was fun and weird. I haven't played. There's a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time. From when Nick and I's band and bands Austin were and John were used to play shows. So seeing some people that we haven't seen for a long time and seeing all of our families, who all wanted to come out and they were going to come no matter what, was awesome. And I mean, I know I was nervous, but it's one of those things, you're riding a bike. The second we got 30 seconds in, I kind of relaxed and was like, oh, okay. I didn't forget how to do this and can kind of have a good show. And, so it was such a great night. Just honestly, beyond our expectations, obviously with it being sold out and it being the record release, but just, yeah, pretty much everything we could have.
Yeah, I
hoped for.
joked with Nick that like this is what rules about being in a band in your 30s is that you get to sell out your first show and then go on a mini tour with Just Surrender. We did our time in the trenches, paying to play and all that to like 2 people, 4 people, just the other bands and their girlfriends. So now like we're able to press our own vinyl and play these shows. So it's awesome.
That's huge, man. I mean, I feel like there's something about just live music that's so fucking awesome. Like I played in bands many, many years ago and I haven't done it in over a decade now, but there was just, I don't know, it was like my favorite place to be. So that's cool that you guys get to do that,
Yeah, because we were all in bands when we were younger and it was more about, just playing shows. And now we're like slowing it down because we're all married or on tour. So everything's much more intentional now. We slow it down.
Do you so the band per se isn't like all of your like full-time thing? Like I'm assuming like you all have like lives and job, all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
Except Jesse.
Not starving touring artists, except for Jesse.
Dude, we
I don't
couldn't
know,
afford
starving.
that shit anyway.
Yeah.
Even what you and Jay talked about, where the fuck did the dollar menu go? Like, we used to eat for $3 a day like kings. We can't afford, like, touring is insane
true.
right now. And, I don't know. I think, again, like, the band literally started just because we wanted to hang out with each other and write songs. I mean, Jesse is a touring drum technician. John works for Todd Snyder, and Austin works in the union. I manage and serve at a restaurant, and I do solo stuff. And like, so it was all just like a passion project that's kind of snowballing a little bit. And again, there's no expectation for it. So it's just everything that keeps happening is really cool. And we get to do these things that we're like really grateful for. And, but the intention or the, expectations never change. Like we're like, oh my God, we get to play these shows with Just Surrender. That's incredible. Like we never expected to do that, you know? Oh, we're going to put another record out this year. That's sick. Like, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. And because we're not like trying to force the issue or makes, you know, that's so much about being a band when you're 19 or 20 and you're touring for the first time and you're trying to eat and survive. It's like, it's a very different beast. And, you know, it's an amazing time and there's a lot of amazing memories, but it's also a lot more about like trying to get to the next step and the next step and the next step. And this band is so unconcerned with anything besides just doing whatever we want to do. And it makes like getting to those places. This sounds insane because we have 4 songs out, but like we get to do these things because we didn't set out to do them. We're just like, oh, let's go film a couple music videos or make some records and like make some friends. We'll play some cool shows and like things just are kind of cool right now.
You guys are going to be very casually awesome is what it sounds like.
Dude, it was one of those things where it was such a, like you guys mentioned the show we just did, our first show, our vinyl release show. And we had a thought where we're like, man, wouldn't it be crazy if like day of it sold out and we got to say that? And it sold out 2 weeks in advance. And people were like messaging us upset. And like half of me was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. And the other half of me was like, sorry. You know what I mean? It felt so cool. Like,
I mean, that is fucking cool. You know,
yeah, super sorry, guys.
Yes.
So disappointed.
And it was actually where we played is actually where Dan lived. So Dan came to the show and sang his part live.
That's cool.
So it was super, super cool. He was very, very casual about it. Just kind of came out of the shadows, sang his part. Yeah, that was very, very cool that he did that for us.
I've realized, and I'm a dick. I didn't realize Dan was following us, and then I was like, wait a minute, hold on, and I went and I started following him. So, is he like a photographer? Is that kind of his thing, or does he just do that for fun?
He does photo stuff for sure. He works for a lighting company too, but he was taking photos for like professional wrestlers and stuff for a long time. He makes some really cool stuff with them. Yeah, he's just the most casual. Just casually awesome dude ever. Even dude, we were one of the things about being in the studio with him is we finished the part. He recorded with us for like hours. He was there for a few hours, and then he was sitting down in a chair, like leaning back, and he just like looked at us and he goes, "Got to be honest, I had a moment last night where I was like, man, I hope this song doesn't suck, and I'm really happy it doesn't."
Well, yeah, he already committed at that point.
He was like, I would have just done it and like dealt with it, but I'm like really happy that I actually like the song.
You're glad you didn't walk out of there and say nothing.
Yeah.
How long does it take to record a song? Is that done in a day, multiple days? Like, what's the kind of the time frame on that?
Yeah, tell them about the stickers, Nick.
Oh, I have the thing. Pass it over. It's right there. So yeah. It kind of depends what you're gonna do. This is our recording board for the new record, and I decided to get weird with it because most people just cross it out, right? But I'm like, let me get a bunch of weird stickers from Michael's. So there's like Barbie stuff on there.
Oh,
we got
yeah.
a bunch of Spider-Man. There's
Yeah.
Mickey. Okay.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
like Dan finished his part, and I was like, here you go, dude. Pick a sticker. You know.
I love that.
But yeah. So it kind of depends. You know, like if you're doing a single, it's a day. You know what I mean? You get everything done in a day. But because we were there for like a week, we kind of went in order. So it was like Jesse did all his drums in like 45 seconds because he's a monster. Makes us all look really bad. Jesse 2 takes, you know. Austin did.
I did
Okay.
3 for both songs.
Oh.
Let's get it right.
And then so yeah, we did like all the drums first, all the bass, and then guitars were like a little bit different for this record because the first one it was like I'm clearly playing rhythm and John is clearly playing lead, and this record because we kind of the big difference about this record we have coming out, which we have a record coming out. I guess we haven't said that yet, but is we wrote it like me and John wrote most of the guitar parts in the same room together, like at the same time. So it was kind of going back and forth. And he has these really just disgusting chords that my fingers could never pretend to play. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'll do like a little cool lead over it and stuff. So the recordings for the guitar parts went kind of back and forth. And then vocals were, John, our producer, wanted me to do all the leads first and then all the background vocals, but I like to complete a song at a time so that I know no matter what that song's done. So the last 2 days in the studio, I did 3 songs on the second to last day, and then the last day I did the last 2 songs, and Jesse did like a bunch of like auxiliary percussion and stuff like that. So it gets broken up a little bit differently if you have more time and you're doing more songs, but.
Well, it turned out really well. Everyone listening, go check it out. It's really good.
Thanks, man.
I do have to ask though. So we had a children's band on the Pop-Ups based out of New York, and we were talking. I've been seeing a lot of, and this is kind of the nerdy side of my life, but do you prefer a digital interface or like you actually using an amp? You know, I'm trying to see if everyone would rather like not have the tube amp that they have to lug around and they can use like the Fractal or, you know, like a Line 6. What do you think?
I have a weird take on this, so I'm going to let John go first.
Jesse and I were actually talking about this because I went to one of the shows that he was drum teching, and they don't use amps. They run everything through what is it, Axe Effects?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, where are the amps? You need to have amps. What is this? So yeah, it just confuses me. So what we like about John is he tells you bring as much gear as you want. If you don't need it, you don't need it. If you end up using it, sick. But like I showed up with like my amp that I thought was so special, and he was like, "Oh, I have 2 of these. You could just put it back in your car." So yeah, he had a ton of heads, amps, cabinets, like guitars, like. So I liked being very, I don't know, analog, if you want to call it that, just so we can play around with tone and texture and you actually hear it. I don't know. I'm big on like physical stuff I can like feel and mess around with. So we used a ton of pedals and messed around with feedback and stuff. So that's just me. I like using that.
Mine takes a little different. For the studio stuff, I agree. I like the analog feel. I like, messing around with different tones and amps and stuff. But live, when I'm like singing and playing guitar and doing pedal switches, my brain would like less things to do for sure. So at a certain point, I think live would love that, like would love to have the more digital interface. And that's just a personal thing for me. And it's more so I want less things to do with my feet, or I want to hire someone like Coldplay to just like have a drawer full of pedals and they press them with their hands, so I don't have to worry about it at all.
So I think I was watching, maybe it was like The Edge's sound tech, and like that motherfucker setup is wild. Like this dude's running around just like beating stuff with his hands and his feet. But I've been seeing a lot of people use the Axe FX. Those motherfuckers are expensive. I mean, they're definitely super pricey, but they do sound pretty good, and I guess you don't run the risk of going somewhere, your tube shit the bed, and then you're fucked. It'll sound the same, I guess, wherever you go. But yeah, I'm always curious to see. I've been noticing now when I go to a lot of concerts, we Taking Back Sunday just played in Delaware down at the beach. And I don't know if their amps were like not on stage or they went the digital route, but that was the first time. I mean, I've seen them multiple times and they definitely used to have the backlining. So I don't know if maybe they're like off the stage or what, but
Yeah, I think a lot of bands are starting to make that transition because you can take your amp in a suitcase, and you're fine. You know what I mean? It's like I think that a lot of bands, especially when they're traveling, the peace of mind of that is a lot. I mean, Jesse can definitely speak to it more, but I feel like a lot of bands are kind of starting to go that route because it's just more efficient.
You just
Yeah, I mean, Spirit Box is all on Axe Effects. And I don't know if you can use this Axe Effects, but with like a Kemper, or there's another one called a Quad Cortex, you can actually profile your specific amp. And so like each tube amp, the same model can have different characteristics depending on 1,000 different factors. So you can, if you have a old, whatever AC30 that sounds so unique, you can profile that your specific one, and then you're playing it every night rather than risk taking your beloved vintage tube amp on the road. So, yeah, it's not just the peace of mind of it sounding the same, but also I know audio engineers love when there's less noise on stage. So as a drum tech, they always hate cymbals on stage, but you can't electronic drum technology is not quite the same level as some of the amp simulators currently. So I think we're still a few years off from anything like that for drums.
Yeah, if I went to go see a rock band and their drummer had an electronic kit, I think I'd make fun of it. Just being honest.
Well, hey, listen. Here's where I stand on the electric kits. If Butch Vig, the producer of Nevermind, plays an electric kit with his band, it's got to be okay. Because why else would one of the most renowned rock producers use it?
I would never make fun of Butch Vig, though.
That's the way I see it. That's fair.
Austin, I think we might have you on recording making fun of Butch Vig.
No, I'm
just kidding.
He's the only exception. Please
indirectly, I think if so facto something.
Nope.
Greg, don't clip it.
Yep,
There's no way Butch Vig actually
that
hears
is saved
this.
forever.
Dude, honestly,
sorry.
Let's start beef with Butch Vig for no reason. Let's just do it.
Hey, you know what?
All right, Greg is going to clip it now.
Yeah, do you want
to make that into a clip? Clip me bullying. If you're going to clip me bullying somebody, I can do way better than that.
Well, we had someone come on and he was like, all right, let's just redo that whole take. And I was like, what do you mean redo the whole fucking take? Like that's not how
this wasn't a song.
That's not how we
podcast.
Do this, I can obviously take it out, but like he kept saying, nope, let me start over. And it's like, dude, like it's not that serious. Just fucking.
And then he wanted a cigarette break. This is the only episode we recorded that we never.
Yeah, this episode.
He was like, I need a cigarette break. We were like, dude,
was the interview with Butch Vig?
And it was.
That guy's such a bitch.
Electronic drum kicks.
Clip that.
Yeah. Damn, we're all about to get fucking just canceled. Nah, it's fine. I also have to apologize. I fucked up. I didn't realize Dan's last name. It's Simons. I'm an idiot. I've been saying Simmons forever.
It's all good, dude. Just redo that take.
I'm gonna take that part out. Yeah, okay. Let's backpedal like 20 minutes.
Butch Vig.
And start over. So
I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yeah, right. It just maybe I don't know how to read.
I don't
also has that problem.
Yeah,
words are hard,
so you don't get it.
Okay, so the show is July 26th, correct?
Yeah. So
that is correct.
New York City is to the 26th. The 25th is Newburgh, New York. The 27th is New Jersey.
And so so tomorrow the shows are getting announced? Is that
as far as we were told,
maybe
that's what's happening.
Well, they are now.
Today, the episode.
Today.
This episode airs April 30th. Yeah.
So and the show, what's it start at 7? I'm not looking at the thing, but that just seems like normal start time. But I don't know if that's accurate. Right. Same. I don't have the.
No one knows.
I'll post.
No one knows. Ticketmaster or whoever will list something.
It starts at 6 o'clock if you're in St. Louis, but 7 o'clock here.
Well, and are tickets sold out? I know they were real fucking close.
So the New York City show is, if it's not sold out, there's like a literal handful of tickets left. The venue, I guess, had put like a hold on a few. So like it sold out and then they just like release a few or whatever. So I think there's like a couple more or a few more. I'm not sure the exact amount. And then the Newburgh show is like a little bit more intimate. I think it's like a 400 cap room. And then New Jersey, they'll both be announced tomorrow or today or whenever. I don't know how podcast talk works.
Yeah, like that.
Whenever this is out. Yeah.
We can always like clip that and just redo it if you want.
Shut up.
Do talk more shit about Butch Vig while I do it.
Go ahead, get it in right now before you flip it. All right, and go.
This fucking guy.
Do radio stations still like give tickets to shows like that? Is that still like a tune call and the fifth caller is going to get a ticket to this show tonight or
Be the
tomorrow
13th
night?
caller?
13th caller, yeah.
I haven't listened to a radio station on purpose in like 20 years. I don't know, maybe
Right.
15.
I was wondering if that's what venues hold tickets for. Like they gotta pay respects.
They definitely. It depends on the show. Like, I don't know if they're gonna be giving away show tickets for our shows, but like, whatever pop star is playing, or like the alternative station. The once a year I turn the radio station on. It's like, or Cage the Elephant or Andrew McMahon is playing, and you'll get tickets. But there's always radio stations still have enough pull to like.
We got some of that.
All right, let's clip that.
I
Jesse.
think I heard something.
I feel like you can still like pop on like I-95
Yeah, what's
and
going on?
run tickets for like Motley Crue or something.
You
Which
say I-95? Do you mean that's a road, dog?
is it I-95? I know it's a road.
Hot 97, you mean?
No. 95.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Have you ever listened to classic rock in your life?
We're
Is
going
I-95
to
a radio station?
we're going to Philly tomorrow to see August Burns Red, and
Sure.
they were
That's sick.
someone was giving out free tickets, but I don't know if it was a radio station or maybe it was the band themselves. There are free tickets floating around for that show, and I think that show is sold out as well.
Did you guys bump the Thrill Seeker re-record?
Yes.
Oh my god,
It's a
It's
certified ass
fantastic.
beater.
It's
I have
so
to
good.
pause this really quick, guys. I need
Yeah.
to let everyone know that I was right. I-95 is a radio station.
Shows how much I know about radio, dude.
And it's also
Yeah,
a road.
listen,
It is
listen
also
to
a
rap
road.
music.
My apologies, Austin.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
I accept
my
them.
apologies. Yeah, you're right.
One more time.
That's all you get, bro.
I can clip that.
Clip that. Clip
Yeah.
that. Clip
Clip that. I just want to
Very
hear that he
clip-heavy
apologizes.
episode.
Butch Vig, dude.
I just see like Butch Vig has to listen to this now, and he's just going to listen to it. Just one tear
tear.
rolls down his cheek.
We're
Just
gonna have to
real
make like a
sad.
unified statement at the end of this that we don't actually dislike Butch Vig because it's becoming a bit now.
We'll have to put a
Yes.
card at the end just so that way.
No Butch Vigs were harmed in the making of this.
I'm gonna fucking
podcast.
tag him. I'm gonna tag him in this fucking episode.
or do a super. Yeah, you should tag him.
I'm gonna
Make
do a super clip to
of
see
all
how many
the-
times. Yeah, we talked shit. Well, Jesse, John, Nicholas, Austin, thank you for joining us. Different people. Super excited to see you guys and hang out IRL. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was
Oh,
awesome.
thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you for having us.
And before we go, new single out now, Notes from the Bottom. Available on all streaming services.
Even title. Is an untitled. I know.
Yeah, it is on title.
Hell yeah.